Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Jake.
And this is Mac.
And today we are joined by the national champion, heavyweight Kellyann Ball. How are you doing today, Kellyann?
Good. How are you guys?
We're hanging in there. We live in the middle of Iowa, so our commute today probably took about 10% of what yours did.
That's a good bet.
Possibly. I drive pretty far.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right there in LA, right?
No, I work in Orange County. I work kind of near Disneyland, I guess.
Oh.
And then I live about, without traffic, it's like a 30-minute drive. With traffic today, it was an hour and 15.
Good Lord.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I have like a 40-mile commute that takes me about 30 minutes.
What's funny is Jake lives in Des Moines and I'm in Ames. He works in Ames, I work in Des Moines. So we literally drive, we just cross
you
each other
guys should
every
just
day.
move into each other's places, do a swap.
I think Mac's house is nicer than mine, so that'd probably be a good idea.
Well, wait, no, I like my house. I just got it.
But yeah, that's funny. As a a Midwestern hick here, you say, "Oh no, not really LA, like Orange County." I'm like, that's all LA to me, right?
It's all California to me. It's all LA.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, Southern California is pretty much just
it's just like a city, like for like hundreds of miles is my mental map. But yeah, you train out there in LA at Yamamoto Sumo Dojo. Probably
I do.
Probably the most hardware as far as women's heavyweight goes in one camp. You got the Galindos that you train with there, Jose and your lady. You guys got the De La Torre brothers. They train with you guys a bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got a heck of a camp. So just to stir the pot immediately here, who's your biggest rival in sumo?
Oof.
Easily, it's going to be Arrows.
Oh.
I've beaten her once, but I'd like to make it a little bit more even than that.
Sure.
Nope,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That was at if I've got my brackets right here, that was in Vegas in December. You kicked her into the losers bracket, but then she came back for you.
But then she surged.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you'll have to wait a little bit longer because you guys are teammates for now. Because you are going to the World Games in I think you said like just exactly a month from now, roughly.
Are you psyched? You're less than a month away from the World Games.
I think the nerves are more kicking in now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I feel like the last 6 months went really quickly,
Mm-hmm. Sure. No, I get that. But yeah, so the World Games, that's July 9th is the day that the sumo will be happening down in Birmingham. And you got so as we mentioned, Eros is coming down with you. Eros made that team, and your California teammate, your lady, will be on that team. The three of you,
correct,
representing women's heavyweight.
That's a powerhouse if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, that's a heck of a team. What do you guys know about your competition so far? Do you know any? Have you heard of or studied any of the other wrestlers that you know are attending?
I've looked at a few. Like I'm aware of like Kon Hiyori, mostly because she had that little documentary on Netflix, and I've watched some of the Japanese tournaments, and then I don't even know their names, but some of the Ukraine girls I'm aware of as well. But I'm not one to sit and like watch tape on other people and really study their moves.
Gotcha.
Because I feel like a lot of sumo is just kind of intuition and letting your body do what it wants to do and just kind of feeling it out.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Seeing some of the videos that are out on Instagram from the Ukrainian ladies, you're going to have your work cut out for you. You guys are amazing.
For sure.
But you guys are going to have your work cut out for
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We're not going to ask you like any moves that you're preparing or anything like that, but how is training going in general? What have you been doing compared to Oh, still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. So how's your training been going, like, compared to before you qualified for the team? Anything you're doing special, anything different, or are you just going at it as hard as you can?
Yeah, Jake, we talked about this. No secrets.
I said
no secrets.
No moves. I just want to know how training's going. It sounds like
no. I think training's going great. I think as a club, as a whole, Yamamoto Sumo Dojo, we're all growing like crazy fast, and I think we're all getting better, which makes each other better. You're only going to get better if you work with good people. So just going to practice regularly, and then I hit the gym regularly. I joined a high interval training program to help with like endurance and cardio and speed, some of the things that I feel like I struggle in. So I've been doing that. And then just traveling to see some of the local people that also do sumo. Like I go down to San Diego and practice with JJ and Christina sometimes.
Oh, excellent group.
Yeah. And then I went to Roy's camp. That was fun. So that was good, just learning from different people and learning different styles.
Yeah, Roy Sims definitely knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that camp. Who was able to make it from the team, and what'd you guys get up to?
It was a pretty small camp. It was just Roy, myself, Jenny, and Josh Crook, and then Rob were there. But it was nice. It was we really broke down some of the different aspects of sumo and some of the different just leg sweeps and some throws, and just broke it down into smaller pieces and worked on that, which I really enjoyed. And there was a lot of meditation and some mental preparedness that I felt like I really needed and I really appreciated from Roy.
Yeah, heard that a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've definitely heard that from a lot of people that we've talked to, that it's not as emphasized, that you got to be in the right state of mind for
for sure.
Is that something you feel? Yeah
because I know I noticed this a lot at NASC, that some of the people who typically did really well maybe had a bad match coming out, and after they lost that first match, it messed with them mentally, and then they were starting to struggle, and you could see it on their face, but only they can pull themselves out of that situation. They're not going to care if you're like, hey, you're doing a good job, but it's a mental battle for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some people that get in the zone and they're a different person until they're done wrestling, and then there are some people that are just loosey goosey, and they're just out there having fun, and it's always interesting to see, you get people that are very successful from both groups, no matter what. But...
Oh, for sure.
You've got Eros with her shout that completely scares everybody. Then you got Caleb, who comes up stone, silent, ready to fight. You got people that psych themselves up and start slapping the Hokuto Fuji smacks. And then you just get people with a smile on their face, just ready to go. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, if you go look at pro sumo, Udara is always smiling, and he's none of the other wrestlers are like that, right? And that's something
sure.
But in amateur, you can kind of see those differences as well.
So what got you into sumo? With all these awesome things behind you and everything ahead of you with the World Games, what brought you here?
I feel like I have the very typical story of I went to a US Open and I thought it was really cool. And then we learned that classes were really cheap. Because they're like, if you guys are in the California area, they're $10 for a class and you get to train with Yama. So, and that's just to go to the fee of the rental space, really. But no, my fiance Brenda, it was near her birthday, and she was looking for something fun to do on Groupon, and she saw an ad for the Open, and she saw that they would have taiko drumming, and that's really what caught her eye. Oh, the taiko drumming, which is if you've ever been to the Open, the taiko drumming is 30 minutes out of an 8-hour day. So, or if you've ever been to any sumo wrestling, it's literally all day, right? You guys know. But that's the real reason we went, is because she was like, ooh, taiko drumming. And then we just fell in love instantly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny. I know Brenda travels with the group. Does she wrestle too, or is it just not her bag?
She's wrestled a couple times. She has bad knees, and sometimes she's like, I want to get back into it, but then other times she's not. But she has a Mawashi that is hers to use, so we'll see. Maybe.
So when did you debut in sumo then? At that point, was it 2018, 19? Like how long have you been with the sport?
My first tournament was in 2020 at the Nationals in Pennsylvania. That was like right before COVID.
Oh,
like really
crud.
Yeah. And that was, there was, for like the women's heavyweight, there was only 3 of us. It was Eros, myself, and Donna, and I took silver that year.
There you go.
And that was my very first tournament.
Very cool.
And then the world shut down.
Yeah, I was about to say then everything stopped.
That's you listen to older people talk. It's like when Kennedy was shot, everyone remembers where they were, or the Challenger explosion or 9/11. But like for our generation, it's like, what were your plans that weekend that the world shut down in 2020?
Right.
We were in Minnesota at a bar.
I was literally 2 days from getting on a plane to go see my brother in Arizona, and it was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. I remember because we actually went to New York first before going to Pennsylvania, because we try to make our trips fun, as long as we were already traveling. Let's travel. Let's go do something else.
Sure.
Other than sumo.
I mean, sumo first, of course.
Well, sumo,
also,
totally.
Well, yeah, it's the priority, but like, let's tack something on,
Yeah, exactly.
And when we were, I think it was like the second day we were there, is when they had the first case in New York. And I remember watching the news of them like deep cleaning the subway and closing schools like immediately, and I was like, I at that time I felt like it was like, man, like this is a bit much, it's only one case. But now, like looking back, I'm like, they really tried, and it really went, like, it exploded very quickly.
Sheesh. Yeah, no, a crazy time, and it's been. I mean, Mac and I we're pretty new to the U.S. sumo scene here, but the couple events that we've been to, it's been really fun to see like the people that haven't seen each other in years getting back into it together and getting to see each other and travel and stuff like that. What'd you do to fill the time in the meantime when there wasn't as much going on for sumo? What else do you do outside the ring?
So I work a lot. I work full time.
Shocking.
At that time,
that's
still doing my commute. That was only 30 minutes because nobody else was driving at the time, so it was really nice. I was working overtime actually, because at that time I was hired. I worked for essentially like the social service agency, and so we were providing help to a needed group that and then our offices were closed, so we were trying to figure out ways to provide help for them and still navigate COVID. So I worked a lot of overtime during that time, and then just kind of hung out at home. The gyms were closed. California was shut down, probably the longest compared to most states.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a whole lot for me to do.
Yeah.
No Butsukari, but maybe some Teppo, maybe a little Shiko. Like, all right,
Shiko,
we can do this.
I got a puppy at one point. Took care of her.
There you go.
Yeah. Played some video games, but
yeah, there you go.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, big ups to anybody who was able to help us get through 2020 and social services and stuff. So
totally
appreciate it there. But yeah, you mentioned Ura earlier. Is Ura one of your favorite pro wrestlers, or what do you like to see in the pro Japanese circuit?
I mean, if I would have to pick a favorite, it would be Takakeisho. I don't know why I like Takakeisho so much, but
yeah.
I think it's his facial expression. He always has this like very like pout.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me.
He does.
Of the pug from Pocahontas for some reason.
Oh, Percy.
Yeah, he just walks like he's just always pouting, and I don't know. And then Ura is always fun because he just, even when he like loses really terribly, he's got like the biggest smile on his face. Like he's just happy that he's a part of this.
Yeah.
And
what about the flying monkey? Tobizaru's another guy that's really dynamic and loves to smile.
Yeah, Tobizaru is also fun. there's also like, you know, the classics of like Tochinoshin and
Oh yeah,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah, I
And
think
then there's go ahead.
it's fun to hear who a lot of people, like one of the people that last as their favorites are the ones that they were able to bond with early, you know, the guys that stick out are easy to remember who's who and stuff like that. And Takakeisho with that silly face, with that like, you know, spherical bowling ball shape, you know, he's instantly recognizable, isn't he?
And he makes it work, you know.
he does.
He's like has very short arms, but still smacking people away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
His Supari is just amazing.
So have you been? Did you get into pro sumo because of doing sumo yourself, or had you been watching it? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like we just felt like as soon as we went to the U.S. Open, we kind of fell down a sumo rabbit hole.
Sure. Yeah, and you get stuck there, right? That's how it goes. Oh,
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what happened to us. We fell in that rabbit hole a long time ago.
It's a trap, and it traps a lot of people.
It's definitely, but a fun.
It's a good trap.
Really.
It's a good trap.
Exactly.
Very fun one.
Now, I heard there are some places out in California that are fortunate enough to get NHK, at least reception out there. Are you one of those fortunate few?
We do.
Jealous. So jealous right now.
Yeah.
But we usually end up watching it on YouTube anyways, just because.
Yeah.
It's still pretty late, even if you got a couple time zones on us. Yeah, that's still pretty late, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but like at the same time, they'll play like the condensed version at like 9:30 in the morning. But like I'm at work unless it's a weekend. So.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure. Speaking of pro sumo, what's it like training under a former pro? You got any fun Yamamoto stories?
Yama's great. I love training with Yama. He's really dynamic. You know when he's happy with you, and you know when he's mad at you. You know, you know when you've done wrong, and when you've listened, and when maybe you didn't do it quite the way he wanted it at that time. You know. But I think the coolest part about Yama is that one, as someone who's like just interested in the sport of sumo now, I can ask Yama all sorts of random questions about like things I'm curious about what they do in pro sumo. And then two, he always points out like what seems to be like the most obvious solution to problems sometimes, but you don't think about it, if that makes sense. He's like, you know, in this situation, do this. And you're like, oh, why didn't I think about that? Like, that makes so much sense.
Like but if you're back on your heels versus up on the balls of your feet when you're pushing or something like that?
Well, more about like hand positioning.
Oh.
Like where your hand is on the belt. Like you know, if you have an inside grip, you want to be deeper into the belt. But like, that's not things you think about when you're wrestling. But when you get told that and you start to practice that, you know, it becomes more intuitional for you. But
sure. Yeah, you practice that, and then you get to implement it into your personal on the fly kind of sumo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. No, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'd love the chance to meet him. I hope that lines up again soon, because
totally.
He was at Vegas, but we were so overwhelmed with the stuff we were doing.
I was gonna say, I was like, you guys didn't meet him in Vegas?
We saw him. Like I got to like say like
he was sitting over in the chair next to us, but apart from that, we were just behind the desk going, who's next?
How do we do this?
How do we do this?
But no, yeah, it was fun. Does he like to travel with the team? I imagine it's kind of tough when you're that big to get on a plane, right?
Well, I mean, he travels a lot for the media stuff that he does.
Okay.
That was the first time he's come to like a tournament for us specifically, other than like the Open, because he's technically head judge at the Open.
Sure.
But he will be at World Games with us. He is one of the coaches, so he'll be there with us.
Yep. Yeah, and Wayne Vieira is the other coach. Is that right?
That is correct.
Yeah, he's another big name, lots of experience under that belt too.
Big guns at Yamamoto Sumo Dojo. Big guns.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. So I guess the you know, if we're talking about World Games again, I'm just so excited. How is that whole process going? Are you guys chatting together as a team? Are you guys staying in touch, like swapping training tips and stuff?
Well, we have like a little group message going, and we kind of communicate with each other here and there. But it's been a little bit. I think everybody's just trying to narrow it down onto their last bits of what they need to do to get ready. But I know, like, out of California, there's like 7 of us going. I think, or is it 8? I think it's 8 now with Roy. And so we've been, as a group, we've been discussing certain things like travel arrangements and stuff like that.
Sure. You guys got any plans for once the tournament's over? Going out on the town in Birmingham or anything?
I don't have any specific plans. I know we're actually gonna go to the Atlanta Aquarium the day before.
Ooh.
On the 6th, I think, is we're gonna go to the Atlanta Aquarium.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Because the flights into Atlanta is cheaper than Alabama, so we're going into Atlanta.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
My mental map of the South is just as good as it is of California, so I have no idea where everything is down there.
It's about it's a 3-hour drive between the two, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's enough that it's worthwhile for you guys if you're traveling as a big group and all that.
Yeah, I think at this point 6 of us are flying into Atlanta. So,
okay.
Because it was like $200 a ticket difference, so.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
Well, hey, give it another month. Gas prices will be so bad that it'll cancel it out or something.
Exactly. Just as cheap to fly as it is to drive.
Oh God. All right. I do have to ask you this before we go here. California, how much do you pay for gas right now?
I filled it $6.05 this morning.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it good in the Midwest, and we're still like outrageously bad compared to where we're normally at. But we're at least $1 cheaper than you for now.
Yeah, we're inching toward $5, but oof.
Yeah, good Lord.
Yeah, we're just hitting 6 in most places, I think.
Yeah. As somebody else with a commute of at least a gallon, I not having a good time here.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, thankfully I get to telecommute half of my week, so
that's
not
good.
terrible, but still sucks.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I tell my boss, like, hey, if you let me work from home, each day you do that is just straight $10 in my pocket now. Like that's how big a deal it is at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh well, hey, I really appreciate you joining us. You mentioned earlier classes at Yamamoto Sumo Dojo. So if somebody is in LA looking for somewhere to go and check out their sport, what's the easiest way to get in contact with you guys?
So there's the website, usasumo.com. I think it's /lessons or under learning. Or you can always reach out to any of us that like myself, and I'll send you the details. We practice almost every Sunday.
Sure.
And how can they do that? How can they reach out and find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My username is slow.death.junior. Slow.death junior, is it? Now I don't even remember.
Actually, I probably still have it up. Here you go. slow.death.junior.sumo.
.sumo.
Yeah,
there
that's
we
what
go.
it is.
4 pieces.
You can reach me out there, and I'll send you guys the information. Sumo's a great sport, and I think everyone should try it if they can. I think I tried to talk your wives into trying it last time I saw them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carolyn was actually talking about that, like, it kind of looks fun. And I just looked at her. I'm like, yeah, you could do it. You could be scrappy. Go for it.
Yeah, Carolyn could be national champ in like the ultra featherweight division or something like
yes,
that.
I was about to say, I think Ketzel and Aerie would just throw her across the ring, but she can do it. She'll be scrappy.
I mean, there's only so many lightweights currently competing. Sure, she should get a medal.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like 6 of them in Texas and like 1 or 2 of them outside of Texas.
Maybe
not a big division yet.
All right, you hear that, ladies? We need more lightweight. We need more lightweight women out there. Get involved in sumo. Do it.
Lightweight, light heavy, middle. Sumo's for everyone.
Absolutely.
Of all ages.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like any other club, everyone is happy to help if you ever want to give it a try. It is always a sport for being inclusive and giving everybody a try at our favorite sport.
The community is none other. That's what keeps me coming back, is how amazing the community is. It really is.
Yep. Every time we've traveled, it's been a blast. Just the hanging out part of the whole experience is just as much fun as the sport. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us, Kellyann. If you want to see Kellyann in action, check out the World Games. Again, that is July 9th. I believe, I'm not sure if there's going to be like an easy way to live stream it on the day. Have you heard anything on that, Kellyann?
I believe they're streaming it on Olympics.com, like the website.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, because the World Games is under the same umbrella organization as the Olympics, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it should be CBS, if I'm remembering correctly. CBS Sports.
Well, either way, I can tell you that among our community, we have so many people invested in it that it will be shared far and wide.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, and good luck on that commute as that gas price continues to go.
Telecommute more.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
throw your salt high
and keep moving forward.